Yo guys, what is going on? Insanity coming back at you today with some more Division commentary. We're going to be focusing this entire video over on update 1.6, where things are going to be headed for everybody over in the Dark Zone and the world of PvP, and how the big PvP balance is coming. Yes, we have been waiting for this for such a long time. This is supposed to revolutionize the Dark Zone the way 1.4 did for PvE. 1.6 is supposed to do the same thing for the world of the Dark Zone and PvP. So with that being said, holy freaking crap, we are finally getting leaderboards over in the Dark Zone. And yes, the list isn't fully finalized as of yet, but there's going to be different things trying to track weekly and monthly activities where they're going to cycle in and out. Everyone starts fresh at the end of each week or month, depending on what you're trying to track. There are going to be no all-time stats. It's one of the biggest bummers, and maybe that will change in the future. Maybe with, Division 2 or Year 2 content, they'll find a way to go ahead and try and start tracking all-time stuff, because with this being so late in Year 1, there's really not a good way to try and track all the stuff that everybody's done across 4 different players over time. It just wouldn't be worth their time and effort when they have a golden opportunity here to try and see how it would work with weeklies and monthlies. And then when Year 2 or the Division 2 comes along, we have a leaderboard system and a stat tracking feature that would be used from day 1 of launch all the way through the life cycle of Year 2 or the second game in the franchise. So what kind of things are going to be tracked, you asked? Well, like I said, the list isn't finalized as of yet, but there's going to be things such as extracted items, named NPC kills, killing rogues, how many times you go rogue, maybe support drops, supply drops, how many times you pick those up, how many times you looted DZ chest while in Manhunt. There's going to be a ton of different options, and they even did say it's listed. It's not activated as of yet because it doesn't promote good behavior, I guess you should say. How many times someone cuts the rope in the Dark Zone. Now that is a huge thing and a crazy idea, but more importantly, there's brand new caches that they didn't reveal what they are just yet, and there's also a ton of new rewards in this new reward scaling system that's going to be included with these leaderboards, and it is going to be absolutely incredible to see what kind of loot people get their hands on, whether it be some of the new named weapons or maybe leaderboard exclusive items that you can't get anywhere else. That's what I'm really hoping for. But more importantly, let's talk about some other things that are going to be going into this thing, because leaderboards are going to change the way people play in the Dark Zone, and it's not going to change the way that you already play, if that makes any sense at all. They're really wanting to try and make it so that people can still run their regular farming routes in the Dark Zone while putting themselves on the leaderboard, and it's not really going to hinder the way you already play. It's just going to change the way that some people try and interact with one another, so that you're not always trying to do ridiculous stuff and trying to take people down. Although that's still fun and exciting and the engagements are awesome, they're trying to cut that back a little bit, maybe for a much bigger PvP update where it's going to be a lot more balancing and hands-on. But we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens once 1.6 goes into PTS and we can all go hands-on with it if we don't get included in the Elite Task Force. Cross your fingers, guys. I'm crossing my fingers I make that list. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Announced is totally subject to change. That is not 100% set in stone. The ETF is going to have a huge impact on what happens with update 1.6, and of course the PTS will as well whenever that goes live. I'm really pumped and excited for that. But let's talk about something that I really want to see in update 1.6, and please sound off in the comments down below if you agree, if you think this is stupid, if you think this is a great idea, and so on and so forth. Just update 1.6, first of all, just sound off and say, hey, this is what I want to see. I want to see a dedicated PvP. I don't know. Anyways, what if a portion of the Dark Zone was actually dedicated to nothing but pure PvP for the hardcore individual players or groups to say, hey, you know what? If you want to go ahead and get ganked by one another nonstop, this is the section where you go. DZ 5 and 6 is dedicated to this realm, and more of the casual farming is for DZ 4 and below. I mean, there's something like that. But the other thing that I really wanted to go ahead and try and touch on is the idea of having spawn protection from groups of enemies or even rogues camping outside of safe houses and checkpoints. And the way it would work would be like this. If you have an opportunity and you get taken down by a rogue, okay, that's great. You go to a safe house, you go to a checkpoint. From the moment you spawn in, not the moment you leave, but the moment you spawn in, you have 20 seconds to resupply, get out that door, and run around. You will not become visible to your party or to anyone outside of your party until that timer expires. So if you decide to sit in that safe house or checkpoint for the entire time until it expires, great. You walk out, you can still get destroyed by that rogue because he can see you. It doesn't give you an opportunity to get away. But if you play it smart, maybe you can try and get away a little bit, go over one street over, go down an alley, come up from behind when you spawn back in, and you have an opportunity to take your revenge. And that goes into my next point. What about a rival system? Whenever you get killed by someone, you could have something pop up saying, hey, you have a rival or a nemesis. You've been killed by this person so many times. Or maybe vice versa. Maybe you become the nemesis or the rival, and you could say how many times that you killed that person. That is something that is desperately needed, and that could easily go hand in hand with the way the leaderboard system works that's being implemented, but we'll have to wait and see how they do it. I think it would just be nice to have it maybe as a quick little image or overlay that pops up underneath your map or in the middle of the screen saying, hey, you killed this guy such and such times. Awesome. And whenever they decide to go ahead and take you down, besides already being rogue, they can get a bigger reward for taking you down for being their nemesis or something. I don't know. Sound off in the comments down below, guys. What do you think? What do you want to see in Update 1.6? This is going to be a huge update for the Dark Zone before we get the Last Stand, where even more stuff is going to be coming. It's going to be absolutely insane and exciting. I cannot wait. The Division Year 1 is slowly coming down to a close, but yet it just feels like it's so exciting and it's ramping up more than ever before. Like if you haven't, sub if you're new, and I'll see you all again in the next one very, very soon. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.